We're against... Got him. Okay. We take the center against the French. The French is one of those openings that, you know, I happily play in this way. Now, remember, we're going to try to avoid playing knight c3 in these lines. Remember that? Pin there. So instead of playing knight there, we're going to play knight here and then likely put our pawn up, right? And this is just yeah, you see, he's kind of going for it as well. It's understood to be a pretty nice option. Let's keep our bishop. One of the worst trades you can do in chess most of the time is trade a knight where the knight just replaces it. There's no sillier move. You never achieve anything. The rook goes up. Okay, well, we'll trade. And we'll double the rooks as well. There we go. We want to snork up. He's going to play pawn here. We can take it. Have you... No. You haven't? You have. You guys are going to have to let me know. You've noticed? You haven't noticed. No, I don't think you've noticed. I don't think you've noticed. Okay, I won't say anything. I won't say anything. I don't know that we've noticed. M Unchained hasn't noticed. Oh, Zelabegus, don't say that too loud now. Don't say that too loud. Based on the pieces that are on the board, knight versus bishop is possible if we trade another pair of knights, and obviously the queen's being off the board is not really a requirement, but it's nice. It's nice. That's all. It helps. I like that move from our opponent here. It hits this pawn, which I'm not that excited to lose, so I guess I'll defend it. Okay. Let's see if our opponent will trade with us. It's the only thing I'm interested in. If he's good, he won't. And he's been good so far. Okay, this is a reasonable move. I think this still comes from him being good. I like it. I think this is a good move. You know, taking unleashes the bishop on the knight here. And remember, this is an isolated pawn, which I'm so focused on the bishop knight. We even hadn't even got a chance to talk about how great it feels to be playing against an isolated pawn here. Isolated pawns are ones that don't have any friends beside them. So they have to be defended by pieces, which is nice because the square in front of it, you can always just sit on. Well, because you already know the habits, Laurentiu. My hope is that if you're 1600, yeah, you know habits. You know where pieces belong. You know what types of moves you should be looking for. So what you're lacking is direction in some of your games. And an isolated pawn gives direction. presence of a bishop on the board might give direction. But that's really what we're missing. Nobody really knows what to do. They know where the pieces go, but don't really know how to formulate a specific plan. That's really what level 4 is all about. It's, of course, we still have these habits rules, but for example, our opponent has taken, and I would consider this a huge, huge achievement here. So we have massive trades. Let's just go for it, and let's just offer our opponent another trade and see what the end game looks like. We remember certain things about the bishop and the knight, and obviously we've achieved a lot of them, right? We have a lot of dark square pawns, right? One of the first things I might do is put this here so that it doesn't get stuck on a light square. Just to put it up there. But, you know, I don't want to fall too far behind in my race to get the king to the center, so let's not get carried away here. Okay, king up. Again, the king's not really making too many inroads, even if it does go there, but naturally I'll still do this. Opponent's playing well. Notice how the opponent can't do anything about this pawn. It is stuck on a light square. However, so far, he's not making moves like this, this, or this. So I think he's doing well. But he might get tempted into something like this, and then a move like b4 might be a little bit strong. We are not going to be interested in putting pawns on light squares if they're going to stay there. So, I mean, I don't mind playing this, but I probably mind playing this, for example. Like, that's not what I want to do. Okay? This is a good example of, like, okay, I could play here. It's not a big deal, but I can definitely do it because I know that later it can move. Ooh, okay. Bishop is making its way here. This one I'm not so sure about. So we have the option to kind of start pushing all these pawns forward. Also not terribly concerned about the king making it here, even though he seems to be. So let's actually go here. And why? Because I know that it's not going to get stuck there, and I'll be able to play the pawn up here next, which is going to be on a dark square. All right. I don't want to be playing this unless I don't know, I'm sure that, okay, so here we go. We have a pawn on a light square, generally speaking, probably good. Again, we don't do too much. We just put all the pawns on the opposite color of the bishop and just hope that everything else falls into place. Okay, so he plays here. I mean, this looks like a fine move. And again, before he even puts it on a dark square, this looks like a pretty interesting move. And the result, to me, looks like a position that's pretty desirable. The knight's just holding everything from there, and okay. In the end, he gave us this, but I think we were on our way to, like, you know, bring our king down or bring a king in the middle, and okay, the game just ends. But even if you don't have a really, even if you don't have a clue what you're doing, if you're just putting all the pawns on the opposite color of the bishop, you're probably doing the right thing. So this was a great example of a game that might be a bit more realistic for you, because I don't think I showed really any technique. If anything, my opponent had better king position and looked like he might be sort of infiltrating. Like, my king was forced back here. But we just sat there, put all the pawns on dark squares, and good things happened. good things happened. I guess I wanted king d2 so that if the king was here and my knight ever needed to move and he wanted to invade, I'd have the option to defend. But I have no problem with king e3. I think they're both fine moves. Yeah, to me they're identical because I wasn't really planning to move my king again. I was just planning to keep putting the pawns on dark squares. But then later on in the game, had the king been on e3, maybe I would have been quicker up the board. So I could make a case for both of them. So I don't think it really matters too much. You want to see what I would do if I had the bishop against the knight. What do you mean have the bishop against the knight? That never happens. Never in chess have I ever had a bishop against the knight. So I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the RPMs are revving for sure, Luther. But once we had the boys on the dark squares here in this particular endgame, there was just no need for them. But to your point, Luther, b4, that's a fine move. I have no issue with b4. It's a pawn on a dark square, so it maintains the character of the knight versus bishop endgame. So yeah, no problem with that. Okay, let's get the pawn into the middle here. Most likely following with knight c6, and we do. Okay, I'm glad we see bishop to b5. We don't, I would say in general, we don't get to see this one too often. Bishop b5 is the Ruy Lopez, and yeah, the Ruy Lopez is definitely a rare opening. Like almost everybody plays bishop c4. We've seen it a few times, but honestly, compared to the amount of times we've seen bishop c4, it just doesn't it doesn't seem important to master or anything like that. So this move happens. First things first, I'll get my knight out. Sometimes people take you right away. In this case, the guy's going to go for the knight there, which honestly might not be the best, but let's see. I'll bring my bishop out. Goes d3. Okay, well, I'm probably going to snork up because I usually like to prevent that bishop from even thinking of getting there. And castling, we're going to defend the center. And he's going to offer us to take. And maybe instead of taking him and giving him these fantastic double pawns, I'm going to go here and get some fantastic double pawns of my own. A shocking development. How on earth does this work? Do you remember, I think it was a couple games ago, I played bishop here and my opponent brought the bishop back. It was the game that I lost. And I took him. Right? It would have been much better for me if he captured, but in these e4, e5 openings, whoever has the double pawns is usually happy. We're castled. We got a snorkel. Ready to expand in the center. I'm feeling good about this position. Okay, knight to e2. Not 100% sure what the plan is with that one. Let's bring the rook to the middle. Knight over there. Again, not 100% sure what's happening with that. Bring the bishop out. Okay. All right. D4 played. Well, we'll take for sure and play D5 because I need some claim to the center. Just hope that this works out. It makes sense, though. Our opponent's been doing some kind of slow things. So yeah, we'll put the knight in the middle here. Been playing like the knight maneuver, a lot of pawn moves here. Also C3, D4, tons of pawn moves, really. Meanwhile, I feel like I've got the rooks to the center, made lots of piece moves. So I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of my opponent in terms of development. I've got the queen and both rooks moved. White has none of that. So I'm feeling good about this position. Okay, queen here. Well, there's a trade, so we'll go ahead and take, and then I'll play c5 mainly because, yeah, the pawn's the pawn's attacked there, so makes sense. And would you look at that? We have a fine looking position here. Rook goes to c1. Well, due to the pressure here, I think it only makes sense to take. Take, and we'll play c5. Oops. Well, just goes to show knight's better than a bishop. Well, we're gonna drop an exchange here, but I'm actually not sure if I would prefer to drop an exchange or drop my pawn in that last position. Well, we have a bishop that is not going to be great if we play moves like b5, c4, and probably is going to be great if we play moves more like d4. I mean, d4 is not a hard move to play because it's in the center, it's a pass pawn, many good reasons, but yeah, it also helps our bishop have a pretty nice scope. And it helps our pieces get into the middle of the board, which we like. Queen d3. Interesting move because I think we get to play this one because everything's protected here. Now, of course, it could always get taken, but I'm never going to, like, I can't sit here and be upset about that, right? Queen goes back. I guess we'll keep pushing. I mean, pass pawns, push them. That habit's never going to get old. Okay, rook d1. I mean, queen into the center of the board. Happens to be a fork, but yeah, just in general, queen into the middle like this is always going to be a good move. Okay, this one, remember, we're also in a spot where, if we count the material, we're probably not that happy. A little bit behind, so we'll do this. All right, rook's attacked. Where can we go? Somewhere in the center seems decent. I'm looking at d2. Not 100% sure about it. But pass pawns, always got to look at pushing them. King is safe. We have that escape square. We snorked up early in this one. Rook to e1. Well, this is a great way to unleash our level 4 tactic here. We're going to hand over yet an entire queen, really. But well, we get it back, and a rook disappears. So the best part about this magic trick is that when we make the queen reappear, we make a rook disappear. I said when we make the queen reappear, we make the rook disappear. If you didn't hear me, I said when we make the queen reappear, we make the rook disappear. So, pretty nice tactic. This was the classic con artist scam. I said, I'll make you a trade. I said, I'll give you my queen as long as you give me my queen, but then I get your rook, and then you don't get my rook, and I get your rook. And he heard the words queen, rook, and said, yeah, sure. He wasn't thinking. $16.42. I mean, with access to a lot of very important concepts in level 4, where you really start to shape your game as a chess player, it's expected, especially right after jumping to this level, that you would gain some rating. Very expected. But we're not at 1650 just yet. Not yet. Okay, we definitely want e4. Okay, goes c6. We'll bring the knights out. 1600, I think most people are quite familiar with this this idea. You know, we see the knight come out to f6. Then we've talked about this before. So even though the moves look a bit strange here, they are, yeah, they are moves that we've looked at before. So we just remember that knight d7 is not really any good here. Bishop out to g4 makes some sense. We're usually going to snork up after that. Okay, he keeps the bishop on the board. So I wonder if we play this move, like, can we get him to take? He takes now. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, and he's going to take our pawn in the center. Damn you. Going to get developed. We want a castle, and I mean, I can't even explain the next moves I'm going to play better than just with the habits. Like, it's just all going to be about the center. Being down material, I'm definitely not about to trade my queens, so that's one thing that I could say. So let's see this position. What can we do? Gaining time feels nice. Ooh, a queen trade. Ugh, I don't know if I like a queen trade here. I don't know if I like a queen trade. We got to move this thing. No queen trade while we're down material, please. Can we make a threat? If we make a threat, I might be able to distract him from castling, but I don't know how successful that's going to be, because that's the end of the threat. That was it. That was the threat. Good talking to you. The threat's over. Well, I enjoyed my time. Got the two bishops. At this point, I think I'm admitting defeat and just developing with habits here. Maybe doubling the rooks in the middle. You know, I got nothing. Oh my goodness. At this point, I kind of have to trade. All right, well, let's double and say, hey, if you want to trade, you got to fix my pawns, bud. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I mean, not good, but not bad. Got the rooks doubled. We're doing something here. Oh, geez. Okay, bishop has to move. I guess we've only got one square, so there we go. Let's do some business. I got the bishop pair. That's... Maybe if I just say it more times, you guys will believe that this is a good thing. I've only got one square, so let's just go ahead with this. Yeah, in case anyone was confused, I do have the bishop pair. Okay. We take, and what do we have here? Doesn't look like a position that should be very good for him if we have a pin here. I mean, it's basic pin, so just attack that pinned piece, right? That makes sense. Okay, yeah, makes sense. He goes with that, but we can take it, and we're happy to take it back with our bishop here. Now, it's not going to be easy. I think it's clear here that we need to exchange these pieces. Like, if we can exchange them, I think we're doing okay. Our king desperately needs to join the middle of the board. Yeah, not easy. Not easy. Maybe a little trade here. Can I interest you? Oh, okay. I can interest him in a trade. That's always a good thing. Okay, we win a pawn. We can bring our king towards the middle, but... throwing our king over. What can we do? Okay, moves the pawn. Is this going to be the great attack of 2025? Okay, king's in the middle. We're basically have a pass pawn here with blue skies ahead, and that was enough for the opponent to give up the game. There's not much we can say there, except our opponent didn't develop the knight. And the one thing the habits will do is, even here, I was like, well, to be honest, I don't feel like I have anything, so let me just develop. And we did it in a way where the opponent was just moving pawns. We had every piece developed, just kind of infiltrated, and it worked out. Like, within 2 moves, we were winning material. So, just goes to show the value of simple development, which the habits will never have you forgetting. Never are we going to be just sitting there undeveloped, especially not on the regular. And we're actually at 1649, so we need one more big performance here. Okay, we go e5. Bishop to c5, right? Making sure we deal with knight g5. c3, I'm also happy to see this one. Now, earlier we faced the Evans, so this is a little bit different. this c3 move has actually got our opponents a very, very good position almost every single time that it's been played in the series. Now, we've probably won about 50% of those games. So maybe you haven't noticed how bad our positions have been. Like somehow we've come ahead with a good position. But I would say that for the most part, when we do this, we're getting a bad position. And as you start to play better players, they're just gonna they're gonna beat you from these bad spots that you get put in. Okay, what the heck is pawn to e5? Did we ever see this before? Maybe once or twice. I'm not too familiar with it. Knight's attacked. Where can we go? Got to hit up the center here. Oh my goodness, what the hell is going on here? What? This guy's a absolute madman. What am I supposed to do with this? Look, it's a little beyond me here, but I'm just gonna castle. I don't trust it, you know? I don't trust it. Just take it easy on me, pal. Yep. I'll just be over here. Take it easy on me, bud. Queen to d3. Well, we are now going to bring a pawn into the center of the board and recapture, dare I say, comfortably. Man, bishop to g5. That's kind of an annoying move, I can't lie. I only have 2 moves. And if I go here, the guy's just going to go there. So I guess I'm going here. Man, that's annoying. Saving the bishop. Hands up if you are not enjoying this position. Okay, let's snork up here. What? What? There's no way this can be good. There's... Thought he might not expect it a second time. Oh well, king h8. The good thing about a dead lost position is you only have 1 move. May as well get it in there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see it, bud. Do your worst. Do your worst. Okay. Maybe he doesn't know. Interesting. Because it's not the knight move that I was expecting. I was expecting a different knight move. All right. Somehow I need to get some pieces like over near the king or something. They offer a trade here. Trades for me. Trades for me. Ah. Rook over. Okay, like, let's go for this trade here. Man. I don't know. Oh, brutal. I mean, he's hitting me with this. Like, he's hitting me with everything. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Dude. Just got annihilated, man. Just got annihilated. There's nothing for me there. What the hell was this attack? What was this? This is the first time. Is this what the level 4 guys are all doing? They're sacking the bishop, but they're not even taking the bishop back. Is this the advanced type of sacrifice? How did he manage to sack without even having a piece supporting it, and it worked better? Oh my goodness. I don't even think I had other moves there. That was just clean from our guy. We got a rude welcome to the 1600 Club. Nicola, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. A very rude welcome. Just going to quickly go to the next game here and try to get this off the screen. That was pretty clean from our guy from Argentina. Nicola enjoys what White played. Is that the 5 subs for that? Fucking Jesus. Hello, Basmaniac. Nicola enjoying my downfall. Your Excellency. Okay. We just played a game like this, so we're kind of aware of it. Now, D4 is something we haven't seen since pretty low ratings. But let's see if it's similar. I imagine at this point we'd probably be taking, but no. Everybody gets tempted by the same thing, and everybody loses to the same thing. Like, how often have we seen this? Haven't done this since we were back at 1,000. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. Not difficult here. Not difficult. Okay, knight's hit. Obviously we can take, but I think we're going to go in the middle of the board because we can take it next anyway. Well, this opening is a huge success. Every time we've had this opening, I mean, it's been very, very playable, very enjoyable. No complaints from us. How are we going to take everything? I mean, we kind of want a castle, so I guess we'll take this way. We can still trade those knights on the next turn. Yeah, he's kind of pinning us, so all right. It is a check, which makes me feel a little bit better. Queen needs to move here. I wish I had more squares available, but looks like this is the only one here. Yeah, pretty solid move by him. Let's get castled. Don't mind our position here. He's gonna get developed. We need some moves here. We want to play this, so maybe we can offer a trade. That makes sense. Unfortunately, I can't really move my D pawn here because my damn knight's hit. What am I gonna move my knight? It's on the best square. Doesn't make sense. Well, I guess we're going here. This is a bit ridiculous. I wasn't really planning to move the bishop like 10 times, but I have 2 extra pawns, so let's focus up here. Snork up, bishop back. Gonna allow our other bishop to move here. Where's this queen gonna go? I guess back to safety somewhere. Rook to the middle, bishop out. That's pretty much my game plan. It's pretty much my game plan. Okay, goes here. Take that and see what he wants to do. Okay. Queen's got to move. Definitely looks like a capture right there. Oof. All right. We have opposite bishops here. Now, when you have opposite bishops, and let's say you're on the worse side of things, usually if you're in a pure endgame on the worst side of things, so no queens, maybe no rooks, but definitely no queens, you just want all the pawns to be on the same color as your bishop if you're on the worst side, because then you can just keep them all defended and I can't attack them. If you're not in a pure endgame, though, both sides are probably interested in having the pawns on the opposite color of their bishop. So in this particular case, what would that mean for black? It would probably mean this and this. For me, it would probably mean this and this. Doesn't mean you always have to, but those would be the moves that make the most sense to me. For example, this sucks. This is just bad. Like, I would love this pawn to be back here. This is terrible. I'm not happy about that. So, for example, a3, b4 is my first foray into having pawns on dark squares, but I'm sure that it will not last long, believe me. He goes there. Now, I'd like to play g3, but I can't because of this bishop, which is quite annoying. defend my bishop so that I can put my pawns on dark squares. Okay, goes here. We'll take it. Rook a6. I've got a couple extra pawns, but position is far from easy. Well, we have a nice discovered attack here. So this will be a great tactic for us. Nothing wrong with that. Rook takes. Let's take. Well, I guess we're back to the Super Snork from earlier in the series. Double up. King up as well is probably going to be my next move. It's double. And this is what I've been saying, like pawn here, h4, e5. These are going to be moves that make some sense. Goes here. Let's bring our king. There's no debate. King on the opposite color square as your opponent's bishop. Eternally safe. But yeah, pawns same color, pieces opposite color. So I've got most of my pieces here on light squares and most of my pawns here on dark squares. Maybe we can go for some trades here. We're quite low on time, so that usually inspires trades. Now, if you're low on time and you have opposite bishops, you are most likely going to want to trade. And then put everything on the opposite color of his bishop. And then pre-move. So here, for example, we need to pre-move, right? Like it goes without saying. So because it's opposite bishops, I think what we want is we want to start putting our pawns on light squares. It's not going to be pretty, but it should allow us to pre-move. And so we'll just put the bishop here. He doesn't have any more pawn moves, and it means that we can play this. And it looks like our opponent's not even necessarily trying to flag us, but we have more than 5 seconds, and these two squares are untouchable. So we can... wait, what? Wait, what? No. I've never seen this before. I've never seen this in my life. You can't do that. So he offered a draw and then canceled a draw offer. What? I've never seen this. You can't cancel a draw offer. What do you mean cancel? He took it back? What? I've never seen this in my life. This isn't a rule. What does cancel a draw offer mean? What? So so here he offered me a draw. And then he made a move, which is normal. That's how you do it in chess. If I want to offer a draw, like I make a move, I offer a draw, and it sits there, and you can either respond to the move or accept the draw. So then I went to accept the draw, but it didn't show up anymore. Because you can see like tons of time elapsed there, like 3 seconds. Because I was like trying to accept it. I was like, wait, where the fuck did it go? So in the end, he could have just flagged me here because now we only have 3 seconds. But it's just like, it's like a new strategy or something. Well, I also canceled the draw, but it's because I offered one. So he offered one and then he made a move, but him making a move canceled his own draw. That's not how it works. If he's offered me a draw, it's valid until I make a move. So how is this a thing? How can this possibly be a rule? How crazy is that? I offer a draw, and then I make. Can you imagine if it worked like that in chess? It's like, hey, do you want to draw? And then like you made a move, and the person's like, yeah, okay, I'll draw. And it's like, no, it canceled because I made a move. What? I don't understand. Because normally what happens in chess is he offers a draw, he makes a move, and then I could take down to like, I could be at like 20 minutes on the clock and wait down to 1 second and accept the draw. So now I'm not understanding. It makes sense if it cancels once the opponent makes a move or it gets declined. Like if I offer a draw to my opponent and my opponent makes a move, obviously they can't make a move and then accept my draw. That makes sense. I'm very confused by this. Because then it becomes like a great BM tactic. Offer a draw and then cancel it. So you're saying that at any point you can offer a draw and then immediately cancel it? Isn't this this is promoting good BM? Wow, fascinating stuff here. Happy to learn an important BM lesson from Your Excellency. Let's jump into the next game. And let's offer a draw soon. Okay, knights are out. Offered a draw and canceled a draw offer. It's crazy. Can you do it every turn? Like, what's happening here? What kind of... What? This doesn't make any sense. What? This is like BM spam. You can offer a draw and cancel it on every single turn? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Oh my goodness. Are we going to get the castle tactic? Don't tell me. Excuse me? That was your piece, sir. I don't know if you realized that. I'll let you take it. My opponent offered me a draw now. Oh. And then he canceled it. Okay, so here, look, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. I can accept the draw now. After he moved. But this is not consistent. I can accept it. What? It doesn't make sense. This is how it's supposed to work. You offer a draw and then you castle. I can still accept it. I'm not understanding. I am not understanding. Habitual decline to draw. I'm confused. I'm very confused by this, guys. Very confused. Yeah, he's trying to snipe my offer. You know, like he's waiting for me to offer it. I get it. I get it. He wants to be there, Johnny on the spot, to accept it. Take. Need to get our pieces developed here. A trade of queens would certainly be nice, which means he will not allow it. That's for sure. Other rook into the middle. We're snorked up with h3. Red dot. Don't need to think about that one. Queen needs to move somewhere smart. Stay in the center as usual. Do I have any place that I can go that really trades the queen? I don't think so. So I guess we stay in the center. This draw stuff is very confusing to me. Okay. Queen f7. Wow. We have an opportunity to utilize our Hawkeye vision. I wouldn't quite say free rook, but definitely I would say this is one of those moments where I would offer a draw and then play queen takes f5. This is definitely a draw offer moment. Now, we didn't even get a chance to appreciate it, but why? I mean, really, it's because in this position, this would have forked anything on these squares. So this would just create the situation where the queen's on f5 and it's still a fork. And this is why I was saying I don't think it's quite a free rook, because that's a good move by the opponent. And basically, the question is, can we make trades? See how our opponent's declining. Like, that's a bit annoying. Can we make trades? Trade everything. I'm looking to trade. Okay, I'm still looking to trade. Okay, I guess we didn't trade there, but just a guy looking to trade. Maybe this one. King's not really in the middle. Oh, okay. Well, I think we'll be able to manage here. This is an offer draw moment, I think. Yeah. Understandable. The draw offer meta continues. This draw offer stuff is very confusing to me, but it's by far the most intriguing thing that we've discovered. I can't even remember this game. Oh yeah, the guy just didn't take his piece back. He was so disgusted by this. That he just didn't even bother. And what I was talking about was that after this, of course, we could play bishop e2, and on, rook b8, we could just play whatever move, h4, and hope that we could unleash the very rare tactic in chess, long castle fork. But we didn't quite get afforded that privilege. I've had it once before. Maybe more than once. Definitely once before. But it's a very satisfying tactic. And that's 1651. I think the theme of this 50-point gain today was definitely the bishop and knight endgames. We didn't really see too much of anything else, but we saw some more advanced tactical themes, and mostly I feel like a good summary would just be the bishop and knight positions, and how, when you're in the endgame, it becomes more obvious, but even earlier on, you can kind of set yourself up for that, which is nice. Right? Even in the middle game, close to the end game, you're already starting to arrange your pawns or pieces in a way that would suit the eventual end game, where your opponent has a bishop and most likely pawns that are on the same color as it. Or even if the pawns are on the correct color for the opponent, they may just move them to the wrong color because they don't understand. They don't know what they're supposed to be looking out for, and you do. So maybe they might accidentally do things right. Maybe they might know it, but for the most part, having that information is going to set you apart. So I would say that level 4 is mainly going to be fine-tuning some openings, still keeping general habits in mind, but you need to have a few more specific things, like the Evans Gambit. That's a variation that breaks a whole lot of habits. But if you're at 1600, you've been using the habits since 400. Yeah, I trust you enough to say, hey, this is a position where, you can play off the habits a little bit, right? That's more than 1,000 points of improvement. And you can't just keep playing, the exact same way all the way up to 2,000. At some point, you have to change it up a little.